Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let me ask you something real quick. When you hear the word sales, what comes to mind? For most people, it's confusion, pressure, being pushy, or something they think they're not really built for. And because of that confusion, a lot of people completely miss one of the lowest risk, most beginner friendly, highest upside skills available online today. Not because they can't do it or they couldn't do it, but because no one really ever explained it properly. Now, in this presentation, inshallah, I will be going through exactly what high ticket sales is. By the end of this video, you should have a good grasp of what high ticket sales is really about and whether it really aligns with what you're looking for. Because honestly, it's one of the best skills that you can learn today, and so many Muslims are simply just sleeping on it. So let's dive into it, inshallah ta'ala. Now, what is high ticket sales? What is it? Now, to put it very simply for you, let me just break this down as simply as possible. High ticket sales is simply helping someone make a serious decision about a serious problem online. And that's it. These are offers that range between $1 to $10,000 and sometimes even more, depending on the type of product or service that they're selling. Not because, it's expensive, but because the value and the outcome on the other side is very high. And we're going to break this down even further to drive this point home of what high ticket sales really is. So, why do people pay 1 to 10K or even more for these services? Well, it's very simple. Here's the thing that a lot of people miss. People don't pay high prices for just information. They pay high prices for a real roadmap, continuous support, and real speed to that outcome. So the dream outcome that someone's looking for, the bigger the problem that they're trying to solve and the quicker they can get to that solution, the more valuable it is to solve it, right? That's why high ticket sales exists. Because what's really happening here is there's a role when you consider lots of different types of programs out there right now, okay? What they're really doing is solving a problem. There's a likelihood of success. There's a dream outcome. And what an offer does, an offer as they call it, a high ticket offer, is that it reduces the time and the effort to get to that dream outcome. It's a roadmap. Like for example, we're gonna drive this offer point home even further. But take me as an example. I have an offer where I train Muslim men to become remote appointment setters and elite setters, and helping them land their first 1 to 5K paying role in appointment setting. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is because, first and foremost, I've always had a passion and a drive to really start my own program from the minute I started sales 4 years ago. But essentially, I've mastered the skill. I became very good at it, and I knew there's a lot of brothers who really want to get into the space. So as opposed to going solo and being lost and being confused, and then they miss out on this remote appointment setting scene completely, I created a roadmap, and from my own experience, I developed a roadmap that works and that has helped brothers already escape the 9 to 5, and some brothers even make hijrah, alhamdulillah. And just if you haven't checked us out already, click the link on the description. We've got free training modules as well in our school community, and we've even got a free roadmap for you as well. So check us out, inshallah ta'ala, and see what we've been able to do with for these students using the roadmap that I've created for the brothers. Now, going back to the price of an offer, and I will give you another further example to really increase your understanding and so you have a proper grasp of what this is all about. So, how high ticket businesses are born are from the following. Take a physical transformation as an example, okay? Let's say someone is overweight. They've tried things before, nothing sticks. And then they commit to a process. They learn, they struggle, they stay disciplined. And 6 to 12 months later, they've transformed their whole body. Okay? Now they have something extremely valuable. What do you think that is? A proven roadmap. So when they package that roadmap, the steps, the mistakes, the systems, the support, the accountability, the diet plans, okay? This is where an offer is born. Just like how my offer was born. You see? Because I used a high income skill to remove myself from a big problem, which is I hated the 9 to 5 life and I wanted more time for my Deen and I wanted to have location freedom. I mean, right now I'm here in Dubai, UAE, living, by myself here, alhamdulillah. And it's been an absolute pleasure because I learned a high income skill. So I want to help brothers do the same thing. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. Because why people are paying for it is because they want to avoid years of trial and error. If you're overweight, are you going to want to do things independently? Like knowing that you are none the wiser and you have no idea where to start. And someone's not telling you where you're making mistakes, for example. So these are how high ticket businesses are born. And alhamdulillah, on the next slide, we're going to talk about the two different games. Okay, the reason why I mentioned tech sales is because when people hear people hear sales, they often they believe that tech sales is the sales out there, right? It's the go to. But tech sales is a real legitimate path, but it's a career ladder. There's like long hiring cycles. There's corporate structures, and it takes years before there's real upside. For example, in tech sales, in tech sales usually it's business to business. Tech sales is always business to business. So if you're trying to sell a solution to a business and you're telling that business that what you currently have it won't work, we are the solution to solving that issue for you in your business. Let's say an operational issue. It's going to take weeks to months, months most likely, to convince them that we need to rip out your system and we need to install another system. That's going to have a lot of operational mess. It's going to have a lot of chaos. So that means that person, that business, if you have one call with them, that's not going to be enough. You need to have much more. You need to have much more conversation time with them on a one-to-one meeting. So if you're looking at commission earnings, it might take months to get your commission. Okay, but high ticket sales is different. It's a skill ladder. It's all about your skill. You're paid based on results and not how long you've been at the company or how many hours you work, okay? Because in tech sales, yes, you do get some flexibility in working remotely. You can work from home, you can, but it's not necessarily the same as high ticket sales. And the entry is based on ability. In high ticket sales, the entry is based on ability. Typically in tech sales, you need some sort of degree or years of experience. All right. So there's the difference between tech sales and high ticket sales. And it's faster entry in high ticket sales. And you get to close deals in one call. Like if you were a closer, and we're going to get to different types of roles in a second. If you were a closer and you had a call with someone, 90% of the times you close the deal on that call. Whereas in tech sales, it takes a long time. The timelines are longer. Yeah. Two types of high ticket. So you got B2C and B2B, right? And this is very, very simple. B2C is business to consumer. So you're a consumer if you're watching this. You're helping individuals make decisions around things like coaching, mentorship, education, career change. They want to you're confronting something about their situation in their life right now that they don't like, and they want to change it. So people who want to leave the 9 to 5 job, for example, and they want to go into tech, they want to get into coding, they want to get into sales, okay? And then you've got business to business. That's helping companies with things like lead generation, software implementation, consulting, the growth and the scale of that company. Both are online. Both are online. Both are in demand. Both rely on actual conversations. So that's B2C versus B2B. And there's more B2C out there than B2B, but B2B usually costs a lot more because they're selling software and they're selling lead gen. The systems can cost like 10K, 15K. B2C is like a little bit more cheaper because it's more to do with mentorship, one-to-one coaching, and support, accountability, all these types of things. Now, B2C is more outcome driven, and B2B is more to do with like metrics, return on investment, real transformations for the business, like lead generation. Right. So why do conversations matter? Think about it. And by the way, as we obviously discussed, you've already seen high ticket businesses. You really have. You just haven't. You just didn't know it's high ticket. Online coaching programs, agencies, high ticket isn't rare. It's been going for 10, 15 years for the non-Muslims and the Muslims, about 5 years. Alhamdulillah. So where does sales really fit in? And why is it why is it simply so important? Think about it like this. Reframe sales as a service plus filter. Because these are serious decisions. Business don't usually use just these checkout pages and they use conversations. Sales in a high ticket isn't convincing, it's qualifying. You're asking questions, you're understanding people's needs, you're making sure it's a good fit. This sets the bridge to appointment setting as well, because appointment setting and closing is very similar. And you're asking questions, you're understanding the person behind the other end, the other party, and you're making sure it's a good fit. Of course, with appointment setting, you're making sure the next call is a good fit. So for them to consider the program. And closing is more to do with, okay, this program is a solution for you to get you to where you want to go. Because remember, in high ticket sales, people need to make serious decisions. If they're going to spend 5K on a package, it's going to be important for them to have a proper conversation with a human, someone who's qualified, skilled, with some expertise. Here's the kind of the reframe that changes everything, right? Sales in high ticket is not just it's not convincing, and as I said, it's qualifying. It's understanding the problem, understanding the person, the problem, and making sure it's a good fit. That's why these conversations are super important for people in high ticket sales and operating with an offer. Let's talk about skill progression. You got appointment setting, closing, and then sales managing. This is the typical skill ladder that you'll find in high ticket sales. And very simple. Lot of progression. Appointment setting is entry level, meaning it's easy to get into, but at the same time, it pays good money too, right? Appointment setting was all about starting conversations, qualifying leads, booking calls. Think about it as a screening service. You are screening people, you're a filtering in and you're a filtering out process. Okay, this is where most people start. Low risk, high learning. Closing, you're handling deeper conversations. You're helping people make decisions. Closers aren't aggressive, they're precise. So what they're doing is the setter starts to change. He shows the prospect that you need a change, and then brings them to the meeting. The closer, he will have a much more deeper conversation to show them that you have a problem and our solution is what you know is what you need to solve that problem. You're more or less finishing the change and showing them that our program, or whoever you're closing for, is the solution that you need to solve your problem. All right. And then you've got sales managing. Sales managing is training setters and closers. You're overseeing performance, and you're leading teams. It's management. Management is about leadership, not having calls, right? When it comes to the income potential, appointment setters can earn between 1 to 7K. Typically, it just depends on the offer that you land. If the offer has a really good marketing, really good lead flow, then they're making 300 to 400K a month. You're expected to make at least 5K with them. Okay, closers, very similar. Of course, it matters about the offer that you're on. The closer must have a lot of booked calls into his calendar to make a lot of money. Usually, they have around 5 to 8 calls a day. Okay, and on offers where the lead flow is a bit up and down, you might have 3 to 5 calls a day. Okay, closers make a lot more money, of course, because they're doing a bigger job. They have to understand psychology and handling objections and things like that. So they make between 7 to 20K. And I'll be honest with you, 20K is not the limit. It's not the ceiling. If you look at a lot of non-Muslims right now, some of them making 30 to 40K a month. It's possible. It just depends on the offer that you land. And then sales managing, I haven't put a proper figure because it can fluctuate. Now they get a base salary. The base salary is usually 7 to 10K a month. That's the base salary, because they're doing a big job. They're managing. Managing is very difficult. Setters, closers, reviews, leadership, performance, all these types of things, it's all packaged into one for the sales manager. So he's got a big job on his hands, and he's in charge of increasing the revenue of that company for that month, for every single month that he's there. So he'll get a base salary of 10K, 7K, 8K, whatever, 15K in some cases a month. Yeah. And to be honest, the range is between, like, depending on how big the company is and how much how much workload he has and how many people he's managing. He might have more. He might have 20K, 30K a month as a base salary, okay? And then the commission is usually like 10% of, let's say they hit 100K on that month, because he's, as a sales manager, he's overseeing that. And he would get typically like 10% of the final revenue for that month. So very, very rewarding. Of course, a lot of hard work, but the money is worth it. The money that you get for being a sales manager is worth it. Right. So very simple. Why this skill is in demand is because at the end of the day, you got to realize that this skill matters a lot, because there are more high ticket businesses than there are trained salespeople. Most founders are overloaded. They can't take these calls all the time. And there's lots of leads coming in. How are they going to manage it? Conversations need to be handled properly. That gap creates the opportunity for people like you, inshallah, right? So you got to understand that it's a very high in demand skill. It's there's a shortage of a lot of good closers and setters. And at the end of the day, a business can't afford to lose money. And you got to understand, like I said, going back to one of the slides talking about trust. High ticket sales is all about trust, but you're not going to get trust if you don't have proper human touch points and proper conversations and face-to-face meetings. Okay. So why this matters for you is very simple. It's halal income. It's halal income. It's got very high earning potential, and it really does, as you've seen, looking at the slides of the earning potential. It's remote and flexible. You can work from anywhere, and it's very flexible. So you build around your schedule. Now, if you have calls in the day and you have salah and you have other commitments, you can move them around. You can move them around, and this skill you can really, really take anywhere. Honestly, like, this skill can help you even if you actually create a business later on, right? So remember, you're helping people make clear decisions about real problems. That's why it's one of the most powerful skills in the online world today. It's low risk to learn, it's beginner friendly. And once you understand how this space really works, you realize something important. Most people aren't failing because they're incapable. They're failing because they never understood the game they were playing. So now that you do, and when you understand the rules of the game, you can decide how you want to play it, inshallah. And that clarity puts you ahead of most people. So I really hope you enjoyed it, alhamdulillah. And this will give you full clarification. And now you might just be feeling like, you know what, this is really for me. And if it is, inshallah, check out the free modules that we have below. If you're looking at appointment setting, closing usually takes 6 months to 12 to really get into closing. After appointment setting, everyone starts off in appointment setting. So if you really liked the video, inshallah, comment, like, and subscribe. And inshallah, I will see you on the next one. Alhamdulillah. And barakallah feek. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.